now. So you guys don't have to code with me, but since you can see my screen, I'm going to open my code editor. Can you guys, did my screen change? So I'm going to open my code editor, and I'm simply going to close this, and then I'll go file. I want to create a new project. I'm sure some of you already have Visual Studio installed on your systems, if not all. So some of you already have Visual Studio. So I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to create something called a console application, which is what we're going to be using for the rest, at least for the early parts of this course. I'm going to name this Next 1 Million Console. And then I'm going to click create. So my new application has been created. Some of us are probably familiar with this screen, right? So I have something called a namespace, which you don't have to bother about for now. I have something called a program. You don't have to bother about it for now. I have something called a main. This is called a method. You don't have to bother about it for now. Now, I would like to mention that everything we're going to be doing for now, for the next 2 weeks, any code I tell you to write, you have to make sure it is between these two braces. These things are called braces. So it has to be between them, not here on this line, but between and inside. I'm going to explain why it has to be that way, but I think that knowledge is unnecessary for now. If I'm going to type code, it has to be here. Note that if I come, okay, so what we had on the screen before was console.writeLine. And then I had hello world here. So if I take this now, and I bring it down here, I have an error. So a red line under your statement means you have an error. This means I am not allowed to put this here. This is a violation. So every programming language has its rules, just like language has their rules. In English language, I can't say I am in the mouth of the house. That's illegal syntax. But in Hausa, I can say ina bakin kofa, which literally translates to I am in the house, I am in the mouth of your house. So for languages like C#2, their language rules, and as you're learning, you're going to learn the different rules. For C#, I can't put this code here. It has to be between these braces. And I am really hammering on this because this is an error I see a lot of times. Someone tells me, hey, my code is not working. I typed exactly what you what you gave me. But the problem is that they're putting the code in the wrong place. So it is important to remember to put the code here. So that's that. So now, the first thing we're going to talk about, I know there's a lot on the screen now, but you guys can ignore all that. The first thing I want to talk about is really how to display something to the user. So I'm going to run this program. So this is console.writeLine hello world. I'll just hit play. This is play or run. If you have Visual Studio, you should have this too. Now your Visual Studio may not look exactly like mine because I'm using Visual Studio for Mac. But if you're using Visual Studio from Windows, for me it's similar too, but just subtle differences. I'm going to click run now. If I'm too fast, you guys can let me know via the chat screen. And then when I click to run, I get this display window and it tells me hello world. I'm going to stop it. I'll simply close this and then I'll come here and say hello Vincent. And I'll click run again. And then this time I have hello Vincent. What does this tell us? It tells us that when you want to display something to the user, you use this code. This code says console.writeLine. It means write to the console. This window, this black window you see here, is referred to as the console window. And a lot of programs are going to be writing for the first few weeks at least, we're going to be using a console window. Why are we using a console window? It removes the complexity of having to make a full website, and then just allows you to learn the code before you try to start making websites. So this is a console. So what I'm saying is that take this text and display it in the console. Are you guys with me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm simply going to come down here and do another console right line, and then I'm going to have hello guys, and then note that my text has to be between these two. These are called the apostrophes or quotation marks. Sorry.
So
hello.
That's great.
Okay, so these are called quotation marks. So my text has to be between these quotation marks. If I take the quotation marks out of here, I have an error. So it has to be between quotation marks. I'm going to put back these quotation marks. And then if I run this, I see, when I run this now, I see hello Vincent and hello guys, because those are the two things. Now what is happening here is I'm telling the computer to do something in code, and it is doing it. I'm going to take this one step further. Yes, you type that in. You type in everything yourself. So Kome, you type in everything yourself. I'm going to clear everything here, and then I'm going to start at console.writeLine, and then I put this in, and then I'm going to say hello Kome, and then at the end I have to end it with a semicolon. So most C# statements end with a semicolon, not all. So that is how to display something to a user. What if I want to take input from a user? What if I want to find out if a user is old or not? Okay, let's just say I want to know the user's age. So I want to take input from the user. I'm going to do a lot of things here. So I want you guys to focus on where I pay attention to. I'm going to start from saying string age equals, and then I used to listen. I need you guys to ignore this for now. What is important here is that I want to go age equals console.readline, and then this. Give me a second, I'll explain what is going on here. And then I can, at the end here, I can go console.writeLine, and then I put age in the bracket here. Now I'm going to run this quickly so we can see the results, and then I'll explain what it does. Yes, okay, yes, Visual Studio has IntelliSense. So a lot of times when I type and I hit enter, I don't exactly, sorry, I'm missing something here. Let me find something. Console.writeLine. So this is IntelliSense. What Okoye is asking if it provides IntelliSense. So a lot of times you don't have to remember the code word for word. So I know I want to use console.writeLine, right? I'm going to type console, and then it is suggesting, it is asking me, oh, do you want to use console.key? Do you want to use console.color? But what I want to use is console. So once it shows it, I can hit enter. And then when I put a full stop and I type W, it shows me all the commands that start with W. And I said, oh yeah, what I want to use is WriteLine. So you don't have to memorize the code. And then I hit enter, and then I put this, and I put the message I want to display. I can say something like enter your age, right? And then I close my statement. Now I'm going to run this, and then it tells me enter your age. Now I am an old man. I have lived many years, so I'm going to say I am 95 and hit enter, and then it displays 95. So I entered 95 once, but I am seeing two 95s. Why is it so? Before I explain why it is so, let's talk about what just happened. So here I asked for the person's age, and then I took that age here and I saved it in something called a variable. So the key takeaway from here is, how do you receive input from a person? You use console.readline. So they're like opposites, right? Why console.writeLine takes a value and display it in the console, console.readline takes a value you type into the console window and put it inside your program. Are you guys with me? Do you guys understand?
Yeah.
Please could you say that again? Yes.
Okay, so I was saying that console.writeLine and console.readline really are opposites, because at the end of the day, when you write a program, right, you want your users to be able to enter information into the program. So maybe you want to collect the user's name. The user needs a way to enter information into the program, right? So for console.writeLine, we use console.writeLine to display things to the user, and we use console.readline to collect information from the user. So I wanted the age now. I use age equals console.readline, and then I can take whatever value. Hold on. So I'm going to do something called step 2. I'm simply going to put something called the break. Okay, I can't walk through. Okay, I can actually. So let's run this step by step so you see what's going on here. It's saying, one second. So it says enter your age, right? I'm going to say 95. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to come into my code window here. And then I'm going to hover over this. And the value in this is 95. 95 is what I entered. And it took that 95 and it displayed the 95 and it put the 95 into this thing called age. This is a variable. Are you with me? I don't know who asked the question, but do you understand what's going on here now?
Yes.
Okay, so that 95 I typed was taken from the window and brought into my program. Now, because I have that value in my program, I can do a number of things with it. I can decide that, okay, this person is too old to use this application. So, for example, I can take that age now and determine that this person is too young to have a driver's license. So this is me collecting a value from the user and bringing it into my application. That is what console.readline allows me to do. Do you guys understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so I really didn't talk about this line of code. Let's run through everything within this curly brackets. Let's run through everything here now. So for this line, I have string age equals empty string. This is called an empty string. So I created a variable called age. For this, I'm going to quickly go to my Medium. If you guys don't know what variables are containers that store information in a program. So let's use my article for here for this. So I'm going to run through this article quickly. So I have an article here, C# variables for absolute beginners. If you don't know what a variable is, I'm simply going to put it in the chat window so you can take a look at it after the course. But then, what is a variable or a type? Basically, I'm just going to run through this application. I'm saying here that imagine you need to store up water, and you live in an environment that doesn't have a lot of that doesn't have stable water. If you need to store up water, you need a container, right, to put the water in. Now that container is your variable. You have that drum in your house not because you like having a drum or because you simply want to have a drum for decoration. You have that drum because you need something to store water inside. Ultimately, the valuable thing there is the water. Without the water, the drum is useless. So it's a kind of relationship. You have a drum because you need to put water in that drum, right? So your drum is a variable. In the same sense, we have this thing called age. This is the container, and we use it to save whatever the person enters. So when I ran the program and I hovered into it, you saw the 95 that the person typed in. Are you guys with me? Hello?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
So,
I am.
okay. So age is a variable then. There are different types of variables in C#. If you think about it, it makes sense that there are different types of variables.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so as I was saying, if you think about it, it makes sense that there are different types of variables because I wouldn't try to store water in a basket. That is a waste. I wouldn't store I wouldn't store rice in the fridge. So for different types of things, you need different type of containers. I'm sure you guys can agree with me on that. In the same sense, for different types of values that a user can provide to a system, you need different type of variables. Now, the different type of values a user can provide to your system is maybe the user is providing his name. His name is text, or computer programmers call text string, which is string. And then you guys probably see the flaw here. I cannot store someone's age as a string because it is a number. So the types of variables you can have in a computer program is a string type, is an int. Maybe I want to store someone's salary. I can say int salary equals 1,000. Let's say the person earns 1,000, right? So this is another variable type. This is a variable with a different type. This variable can only store numbers. Let's try to store something that is not a number. Let me come down here and say int previous salary equals, and then let's try to do my previous salary. Clearly there's an error on this line. So whenever you see a red line, it means there's an error. And see what it's telling me. It's telling me that cannot convert type string to int. Because when I declared this, I created this variable and I told my system that this variable is going to store integer values, that is numbers from minus, I think it's minus 2 million to plus 2 million. That is how large. No, I think it's much larger than that. But let's just array for now that ints can store numbers. So it is telling me that you told me this is going to store a number, but you're trying to put text inside of it. Immediately I clear this and put a number, our program is happy again. Now, okay, fine, you told me this can store a number. Then other types. So who's there? Okay, are you talking about the yellow line?
Yeah, sorry. Why is the salary?
Why is it
Yes.
yeah, so it's on the line because I am not using it yet. So this is just Visual Studio telling me that I'm creating a variable that I am not using. It's not an error. Hello? Did you get that?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so if I come down here,
Yes, I did.
okay, so that's just that. It's just telling me that I am not using that variable yet. Oh, sorry, Kume.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying, the different types of variables. So we're looking at two now, and ideally, I should store this age. I should store a person's age as an integer, really not as a string. Well, I'm going to leave it as string right now, and then there's another type is dates, date time. So I can store a date time. Maybe so when you make a post on Facebook and you come back several years later, you can still see the time and the date you posted it. Now, that variable, that your date time variable is stored in a type of variable called a date time. And then I can say date time now equals date time dot now. And what it does, it takes the current date and it stores it into this variable. One thing I forgot to talk about, let us even look at this line in itself. So we have int here. Int tells you the type that this variable is, right? And then we have salary. Salary tells you the name of the variable. So that if I come down here, I can come and say console dot write line, and then I have your salary is, and if I didn't name this variable, I wouldn't have a way to reference it now. I want to tell the person that this person's salary is 1,000. I can now come down here and say your salary is, and then I'm going to use the name of the variable to get the value inside. So I'm going to say your salary is plus sorry, and then I put variable, I put salary here. Let's run this program very quickly. Okay, hold on. First of all, I'm going to take out this line. I'll take out this line. And then I'm going to run this. So it's telling me your salary is 1,000. Now look at something. What I actually put here, your salary is plus salary, right? My program is smart enough to know that I want the value stored inside of salary. And what did I store inside of salary? I stored 1,000. So this is the use of variables, and it would be impossible for you to create a program without variables. So that is what variables are. They provide a way for you to store information in a program. And that when you guys have your laptops, I want you to just quickly create a few variables. Let's create a basic program now that takes a user's data. I'm just going to clear all this. And then I'll start by creating different variables. I'll say string name equals, I set this to an empty string. And then I'll say int. I'm going to save the name in the age in int now. Int age equals, I'll set it to a default value of 0. Let's say this person hasn't been born yet. And then I'm going to go int current salary. I'll set it to 0 too, because the user has to enter these things. Which other biodata information do people usually collect? Let's say gender. So I'm going to say string gender. I'm going to set it to an empty string too. What else? So let's leave these values for now. And then I'll now say, now I want to tell my user to enter a value for each of these things. I'm going to start from saying console.write line. So I need to tell my user to enter a value. Console.write, instead of using console.write line, I'm going to use console.write now. I'll explain what that does briefly. So I'm going to say enter your name. And when I say enter your name, when the user says enter your name, instinctively the user will type his name and then enter it and click enter. And when the user does that, I want to capture that input. How do I capture it? Remember this variable I created, I want to save that value in it. So I'll come here and I'll say name equals our good friend console dot read line. So what this line does is it takes whatever the user typed and saves it into this name variable. And then I'm going to repeat this for every other value. So I'm going to say console.write enter your age. And then I'm going to come down here. Notice that I didn't close this off with a semicolon. That's why I had an error. Okay, so like as I was saying, Kome, so when you need to store different things in your house, you have to use an appropriate container. So the example I used was that you're not going to store raw rice in the fridge or store water in a basket. In the same way, if you want to store text-based data like someone's names, or where they work, or their occupation, things like that, things that are text, things that have alphanumeric values, you use a string. And then when you want to store a number, you use an integer. And then C# guides you, right? So I can't even try to come and put a text in here. I can't even say tries to put text. The compiler, C# doesn't agree with me. It's telling me that no, this is not possible. So C# guides you in that regard. You can't put the wrong thing in the wrong place with C#. So back here, we're talking about, so now I'm telling the user that, hey, enter your name, your age, and then I'm going to come down here and say age equals console.readline. And this is going to give me an error. It doesn't make sense, right? Because right here, I'm doing the exact same thing. And then I'm trying to do the same thing here. I'm getting an error. Does anyone have any ideas? Does anyone want to try to tell why this is happening? But are you guys following me? Hello?
We can hear you. We are following, I guess.
I'm following.
Okay. So I'm saying that right here, what I'm doing on this line is I am taking the value the person has entered into the screen and I am saving it inside my name variable. But right here, I'm trying to do the same thing with the age, but it is telling me that I have an error. And C# is a very descriptive language. It guides you. So when you have an error, just hover your mouse over the error and it will tell you what the problem is. And here it is telling me that I cannot convert a string to an integer. This is because whatever input comes back from the console, whatever the user types into the console, is assumed to be a string. And now, because at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping the user from typing my age is 95 years old in words. And then C# is going to try to put that my age in 25 years old inside of this variable, which is supposed to hold an integer, and your program is going to fail. So C# is telling me that, hey, it is possible that this person is going to enter a string, so do something about it. That is why I am having this error. I am not having it here because this name is defined as a string, and if the user enters a string, it can just save it in there anyways. So what I can do is I can tell C#, okay, whatever the person enters, try to convert it to an integer. And there's one way to convert in C#. The way to convert in C# is to say int.pass. Notice that it showed the value and I typed it. So I can go int.pass, and then I can put my console.readline inside int.pass. Now, I'm going to explain it, so don't get scared yet. So what is happening here is I am taking whatever the user enters, and I am telling C#, hey, whatever the user enters, convert it to an integer, and then save it inside age. And now C# is happy. There's no error here now. For now, you might not understand this in depth, but it is enough for you to know that before you can save what the user enters inside an integer value, you have to convert it. And you can just memorize this. As you learn more, you're going to understand why this is this way. So our next value is current salary. I'm just going to breeze through this one. I'm going to go console.write. This is called a prompt. So I'm telling the user what to do. Enter your current salary. And then I can say current salary equal, I have to do the same thing because current salary is an integer too. So I can go int.pass, and then I put the user's, I put my code to console.readline inside of this. So that works. And then the last one is console.write. And then I can say enter your gender. Okay. And then I can come here and say gender equals console.readline. That's whatever the person, we don't have to convert this because it's going to be, it's string anyways. So yeah, that's it. Now I have taken the person's details and I want to display the details back to the person. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called join in. So I go console.writeLine. Now I want to display something called literal text. Now I want this text to display exactly as I type it. So exactly the way I type this text, that is how it is going to show in the console window. So I put my two quotation marks, and then I go, your name is, then I put a space. Now I want to display the person's name, the person currently using my system. How do I know his name? I know that I saved his name inside this name variable. So I go, your name is, and then I put a plus. Now a plus is used to join two strings together. So I say your name is plus, and I put name. Now what happens when it gets to this part of the program is my program actually checks, okay, what is inside of name? And it takes the value of name and it puts it here instead of this name here. Then I'm going to put another plus, and then I'm going to continue, comma. I'll start with a comma here, and then I'll go another, your age is, you can guess. I'm going to come here and put another plus, and then I use my age variable, and I put another plus, and then I go, your current salary is, as you can guess. I'll put another plus, I'll put current salary, I'll put another plus, and I'll say your gender is, yet another plus, and then gender, and that's the last one. And then I'm not going to forget to put my closing semicolon here. So let's quickly run this before I take your questions, right? So I'm going to hit run. And then I'm going to be stepping through the program. So I'm stepping through now. We've created all our variables, and then it's saying enter your name. So I'm going to come back to the console window. So I'm going to come back to the console window, and it's asking for my name, right? So Vincent Warner, and I hit enter. And then because I'm executing this program in a special way, I'm stopping it on each line. That's why it didn't ask for the next one. So I'm going to come to name and see. So in name now, I have Vincent Warner. This is what I typed in. So I have taken what I typed in and put it in here. That means by the time I try to display it here, I'm going to have Vincent Warner. Now I'm going to continue. And now the program is telling me enter your age. My age is 95. I hit enter. If I hover on age now, I see the value I typed in, 95. Simply going to continue. It is telling me to enter my current salary. I'm going to enter my current salary by feet, which is going to be some 9 billion or something. And then, so if okay. So I'm having an error here. We're going to have to restart. So it's telling me that the value I entered was too large. So this is what I was talking about, different types going in different integers. There's a type called a big integer in C#, which can take a much higher value. So we've encountered an error. We're going to have to run through this again pretty quickly. So 95. I'm going to be more modest this time and just say my salary is 10 naira. And then it's now asking for my gender. I am male, so I enter male, and then I hit enter. And then now we've gotten to this really long line, and I'm just going to walk through it. And then on my console, I have your name is Vincent Warner, your age is 95, your current salary is 10, and your gender is male. So while this might look really simplistic, these are the building blocks of any software application. The building blocks of any software application is that you can take input and you can process it. Today, what I am doing is I am simply displaying this back to the user. Tomorrow, I may be storing this off into a database. So you can actually really take this and store it into a database. So next time the user comes to use your application, this information is already stored. The basic things to know in software engineering is how to take input from a user, how to process that input. Processing that input can be storing it somewhere, sending it somewhere, displaying it, and all that. And you need to know what to use to store what. So let's talk about this line for a bit. This line where we're joining a lot of things. So do you guys understand what is going on this line? Does anyone understand what's going on this line?
Yes.
Okay, can you try explaining it, please?
Are you talking about the last line?
Yes, the last line.
So you said console.writeLine your name. So it's picking up the right, enter your age, and then selects the one you're sending to. For example, it picks up the name at the top. That's the string, and then goes to the next one, selects it. It's more like picking up the whole stuff you listed at the top, and then displays the answer for you.
Okay, so yeah, that's exactly it. So basically what it does, it replaces this thing. So it comes when it gets to name, it says, what is saved in name? Vincent is saved in name. And it puts name here, and then it gets to age and it says what is stored inside of age. And it basically just replaces it. So does everyone understand what we did here?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm simply going to should I post this somewhere for you guys to recreate? Well, I recommend that you just recreate this application, because when you actually type this out, it sticks to memory. So I would really like it if everyone in the session, for those who, so I know that some of us are already way beyond this. So for those of us that are not, I would appreciate that you just do this exact same application and send me a screenshot. I don't mind posting the code, pasting the code somewhere for you guys. So you just do the application and send the screenshot. So you get a feel for the language, you learn to type it. Like I said, key takeaways from this this session is what a variable is. You know what a variable is now, how to display information out to the user, how to read information from the user, where to put your code. Like I said, it is important that your code stays within this curly braces. If I bring this code and I put it here, I have errors all over. If I put it here, I have errors. So it is important that you have it here between these two braces, basically the last ones, and we don't have a problem there. So someone suggested that we have a break of a day between each session. So tomorrow I would expect that everyone in the session basically sends me a screenshot showing an application they did. Yeah, so yeah, it's concatenation basically. So I'd appreciate that every one sends me a screenshot showing an application that collects simple biodata and displays the results back to the user. This session is supposed to be an hour. Time is 9:11. Thank you guys for joining. See you guys next tomorrow. Anyone have any questions, comments, opinions? Do you think there's something we can do better? Hello? Kumi, are you there?
Yes, this is
You said? So I was asking if anyone has any questions or comments, suggestions.
I'm here, I tell you. Okay, so I have my Visual Studio,
Okay.
and it's telling me that my free trial period has expired.
Okay, so all you have to do, if it's telling you a trial period has
Am
expired,
I supposed to pay for it?
yeah, so what you should do is, it's telling you to log in, right?
Mm,
Is it telling you to log in?
yes,
Okay, do you have an Outlook account?
yes, it is.
Do you have an Outlook account?
Yes, that was what I know. Yes, I do.
Okay, use the Outlook account to log into it and it's going to be fine.
Okay, but is it that do I have to use another Outlook account? Because I
No,
think I already used the Outlook
no,
account.
there's no problem. You can use the same Outlook account.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, that's fine. All right, thanks.
yeah. Can use the same Outlook account. So for mine here, it basically I have several Outlook accounts on my Visual Studio here. It doesn't really matter. So what you downloaded is the free edition. So Visual Studio Community is free. You don't really have to pay for it. You just have to sign in with an Outlook account and it's going to be fine. Any other question?
Okay.
Okay, so if there's no questions, I'm going to be signing out now. I'm going to drop a link to the recording on the group chat for anyone that wants to rewatch it. So you might want to rewatch the last part where we talked about how to create variables and all that. Thank you guys for attending. Good night, everyone.